Freezers are being urged to check when their appliances were made after it emerged the products could have caused a number of fires in Greater London.
Yes, we were telling you about the alert yesterday. Of course, the companies promised to check any product made between 2000 and 2006 free of charge for customers.
It's the latest, though, in a number of high-profile cases that we've featured on Breakfast, where products have had to be recalled over safety fears.
For instance, the British company McLaren recalled 1 million of its pushchairs in the United States 2 years ago after 12 children suffered sliced fingertips.
The car maker Toyota recalled 8 million cars globally after it emerged many of their vehicles had problems with their brakes and accelerator pedals.
And last month, the company Johnson & Johnson had to recall more than 60,000 bottles of its Tylenol extra strength pain relief tablets after reports of a musty odour coming from the medicine.
So let's talk about the whole process and when it's clear a product has a risk and how damaging such scares can be. We're joined by Christine Heemskerk from Trading Standards Institute, and alongside her Alison Stewart-Allen, an international marketing and branding expert. Very good morning to you both. Christine, do you tell companies that they need to recall a product, or do they work that out for themselves?
It can happen both ways. It either can come from us or from them. In the main, it usually is a voluntary recall by themselves, because through their monitoring perhaps or their complaints, they've actually realised there is an issue, and then they will notify us immediately, and we'll work together. We always work together closely with the company to actually make sure the recall does take place. But in some occasions it comes from us, where the company perhaps might be not quite considering it such a serious fault, so then we can actually issue a recall notice if the worst comes to the worst.
There are minor sort of recalls going on all the time, really, aren't there?
There's a lot, yes.
How many a year do we know?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds, possibly even 1,000. I mean, within Europe as well, because obviously we work in Europe now, there is this RAPEX system, and there's at least between 30 to 60 notifications a month at least. So.
Yeah, and Alison, we spoke to a representative from Beko yesterday who agreed that it's devastating when your product is associated with something as awful as a potential fire.
Absolutely, and the key thing in any recall situation for a company is to do, firstly, speed, taking action. They had some problems with, I think, their telephone lines, so you need to make sure that you're absolutely set up to handle the recall. But you also have to have executives who are communicating. You have to constantly reassure your customer, we're on the case, here's the specific action we're taking, and also be empathetic. You know, you can't just be robotic and in a recall, and it's all about retaining the trust of that customer, because there could be other products in the future that they won't buy from you.
It's an expensive business for a company, isn't it?
Very expensive
How
business.
much does it cost? I mean, how much
it depends on the nature of the product, but I mean, you're looking at usually millions of pounds. Yes.
Yeah. So, Christine, what is the best way to go about recalling a product? Because not always does the company have the customer's personal information. I mean, presumably phoning someone up or writing to them saying your product is potentially dangerous, please bring it back in, would be the ideal way.
That is the ideal one. And nowadays, actually, with buying over the internet and loyalty cards and things, that's quite possible in quite a lot of cases. But as you say, that isn't always the case, and then it is a bit of a difficulty. How do you actually contact your customer? What is the most effective way? You can do the press release, you can do the advert in the paper, you can do the advert in the shop. It really does depend on the product and the circumstances and the actual.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes you move into a house, you take over the fridge, freezer, or whatever, or you might buy it second-hand, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We had some emails in with questions about this sort of thing. For instance, on the fridge, things like fridge freezers. Can you? Is it okay for the company to say, look, you have to just accept the repair, or can you demand a completely new item?
You could demand a new item, but obviously a repair is acceptable, and I think possibly if you did actually take it further, you might be sort of criticised by not accepting the repair. As long as, obviously, you've got to be absolutely certain that it's safe. I mean, the company has to be certain it's safe, that the repair will rectify the fault totally, so that is the main thing.
And Alison, that's a problem for a company which has already seen its brand damaged by having a product that's been recalled.
Absolutely, but it's how you handle the recall. So as the brand owner, maybe in the case of Beko, McLaren, Tylenol, and several others, Toyota, it's how you go about doing the recall. It's how you communicate, what you communicate, and the fact that you're demonstrating immediate action. It's about speed, and it's about being open and continuing to engage with with customers.
Right. Christine, what rights do you have as a customer, though, if a company says, OK, we're recalling this product, contact us through the website or email or by the phone, and you try getting through on all those channels and you can't, or you find the website is just not working in some way, what do you do next as the customer?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. Hopefully that won't arise, because really the website should be working. That's the whole point of running the recall.
But it does happen.
But if you don't, then obviously you need to contact your local trading standards through Consumer Direct, and hopefully they'll be able to take up the issue directly with the company.
Yeah, let me just say something about websites, because if it's a product like a fridge that is such a serious fire hazard, you'll want to talk to somebody. You know, a website is very frustrating because it's not interactive. So while you can put information up there, that's fine. It's great for information, but it is not great for allaying the fears of the customer.
Yeah.
And trust loss is the biggest issue in this situation.
I think a free phone is always the best way to interact with your customers, so they can actually talk to someone.
All right, but as you say, bottom line, if you want to talk to someone, you can phone your local trading standards,
you can, yes.
and then you will be able to have a conversation with a human being.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.